So I'm going to give you a little background, and I find whenever I talk about GMOs, we need to talk about biases. One of the things is if I don't say that GMOs are evil, some people always say, well, you work for Monsanto or something like that. So I'll tell you about my biases and background. I'll tell you a little about conventional breeding, a little bit about marker-assisted breeding, a little bit about genetic modification, and a little bit about gene editing, and then hopefully let you make your own decisions, but present some reasons why I think you might want to be swayed one way or another. So my objective of Plant Breeder is to improve quality and sustainability, and that's both economic and environmental, of life on Earth, developing plants that fit better in the natural world and produce more with less. So this is at the top of my academic CV. So you don't see anything in there about what type of technology I'm going to use, right? That's the goal. And so from my personal perspective, I don't care what type of technology we need to get there. Our goal is to produce more with less and do so in a more sustainable manner. Okay? And that's my bias. So in high school, I read a book about more sustainable agriculture with systems that mimic the prairie, diverse perennial polycultures. And that's when I decided I wanted to be a plant breeder. We already talked about, went to Michigan State. I started the student organic farm with my wife and some other students at Michigan State. I was a big believer in organic systems at that point. I worked in a genomics lab. And since then, I've sort of gotten away from organics. And that's a whole different topic. But I did have a background in that. Did Cornell, looked at natural genetic diversity in sorghum. And so the things I need to tell you is I'm the corn breeder for the state of Texas. There's another corn breeder up in the High Plains, but I breed for most of Texas. I don't breed with GMOs in my program, okay? I would like to in some cases, but it's a lot of scientific effort. I do use GMO varieties in my testing program. So we use stuff with Roundup Ready and BT because if it doesn't have those traits, farmers aren't going to grow it. It's just sort of, there's a few farmers, few organic farmers, but the vast majority of acres, farmers want to be able to spray Roundup. Spray Roundup. So we sort of have to use that. So I haven't received any significant funding from industry. I've had a few students work for Pioneer or Monsanto that I've trained, and I've gotten about $7,000 from one seed company that does do GMOs out of a $450,000 a year budget. So not a lot of bias towards one way or another.